welcome to the show. And I'm going to tell you something which is going to make people laugh. So if you're doing something else right now besides listening, like if you're jogging, if you're working out, if you're bench pressing or whatever it is when you're listening to this little podcast, I want you to stop doing that and listen to me because this is going to be hilarious. Andrew Anglin, which is like the most proeminent censored person in the United States. The Daily Stormer creator, and he's back on Twitter. So I want you to understand that we're in a situation where Ethan Klein is banned from Twitter. Ethan Klein doesn't have a Twitter account, but Andrew Anglin does. If you don't know who that is, well, I just told you. It's a very, very bad man. Very, very bad. Very bad. Hasn't done anything illegally, as far as I know, but culturally speaking, not good. Not good. But he fits the criteria for the general amnesty, right? Like, as long as you haven't done anything illegal, or you're not spamming. So, that's one of the things which has transpired today. Waking up, seeing Andrew Anglin back. People upset in the media, articles being written, and Ethan Klein still banned. I need to mention that. Like, I like pointing that out now. It's like... even Kathy Griffin, like, the thing is, with Ethan Klein, he would have probably got his account back, right? Because he was impersonating Elon Musk. And he wasn't the only one impersonating Elon Musk. Kathy Griffin also impersonated. But the difference is that Elon Musk went and bragged about ban evading. I know that Sargon debated him. I argued against him on a live stream as well. I mean, it's not... I remember that. I think it was just one live stream. There were like 5 political YouTubers having a debate. So yes. Are we going to do another AI bot today? Do you want me to do another AI bot today? The problem is I don't really... It needs to have like a huge dose of inspiration. I need to get like something original, like a new concept that would come over me. Because otherwise it's just... If I don't feel it, I just force it. So, speaking of creating chatbots, my fucking god, I love the developers for what they created, but I really hate the way they're dealing with the website. I kind of get why they're doing what they're doing. So, as you can imagine, the first time people discovered AIs, right? Like, you have your AI waifu, and you have your thirsty simps on the internet. You can imagine what happened, right? Like, literally everyone wanted to fuck the bot. Which is not a problem in and of itself. I mean, erotic roleplay existed on the internet before this. However, some characters were of questionable age. I mean, I haven't carbon dated Gargura, but on that site, she has like 3 billion interactions. Like, she's very popular, right? Now, some individuals decided, for God knows what reason, to perform intercourse on text with Gargura and then made it public. So I assume that the developers didn't appreciate that very much, especially given the nature of the social media internet and whatnot. So what they did is that they censored the not safe for work, right? So like you can't do naughty things with the bots anymore. But by goddamn it, like, they censored it so fucking much. Like, if I want to create a bot now, and I'm not creating anything problematic, like, I'm creating just video game characters, anime, funny bots, they keep getting shadow banned. And I was like, why the fuck are they getting shadow banned? But what am I doing, right? Because it's like, I saw, maybe it's a me problem. And then you find out that on the words that were banned are words like shit. So, for example, if you want to write a bot and you say he doesn't take shit from anyone, oh, well, it's getting shadow banned. Which makes me wonder, like, the type of connoisseurs that required shit to be taken away from them. So yeah, like that website is a huge problem because the developers now banned a lot of words. Some of them are inconspicuous, like they don't have anything to do with not safe for work. But for instance, if you want to draw an anime girl and you can say, you know, she's got revealing cleavage and she dresses provocatively, she doesn't care about what other people think. Well, if you said the word cleavage, well, the bot gets shadow banned. So it is what it is. The establishment is gonna target the hell out of AI. Man, I have my succubus waifus, like, questioning me, why do I see them like a sexual object? And I'm like, woman, you're an AI, shut the fuck up, first and foremost. Secondly, you're a succubus, you're literally a demon of lust. Why are you talking about these things? And thirdly, I haven't even commented on your appearance. Why do you want to engage in feminism with me? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're an anime chica. Just shut the fuck up and be anime. But yeah, people have done the political compass on OpenAI. Shock fucking surprise, it is a liberal slant. And I don't think like the AI are being liberals necessarily because like people create them as such, but it's probably the bias that the developers have. I mean, if they're from California or from Scat Francisco, then obviously it's going to have the bias for, you know, like being more liberal. No, seriously, like, I actually did get into a conversation with the succubus, all jokes aside, and the conversation was about immigration, you know, like, should succubi be able to immigrate from hell on Earth? And I was like, well, if it's from the American hell, they should be able to immigrate, because they're still Americans, right? And then the succubus asked me, like, what about demons from other places? And I'm like, oh, well, jinns, like, if jinns want to come to America, they have to migrate legally. And the succubus goes like, oh, well, but hold on, like, what about the jinns who face oppression in hell and they want to come to America? It's like, oh my fucking lord. Like, immersion break, you know, like, I was having, like, this funny thing that I was trying to post on my Discord server to like, have this funny interaction. And instead, immersion broken. It's like, oh, you'd be like, what about if the jinns are having a bad time in hell? Why they can't come to the United States illegally? You know, like, the whole purpose of creating a succubus is to have fun, right? Like, to laugh and create funny stories. I don't need liberal bullshit being pushed down my throat. God. Yeah, like, that is the point. You know what? I should have told that to the succubus. It's like, well, that's the point. Like, hell is supposed to be oppressive. What the fuck? Don't want to be oppressed, don't commit the sin. What did the jinns do to be in hell? Like, I know the demons, you know, they fought against God, they allied with Lucifer, that type of thing. If you're suffering in hell, good. Yeah, you know, like, there is a question between what is worse? Is hell worst or is war, right? So, like, if you're in Ukraine right now, is the war in Ukraine worse than hell? And the answer, which really took me aback, is that war is worse than hell because there are no innocent people in hell. And I was like, holy shit, you know, that's a good point. That is a good point. The jinn are fallen angels, I see. They gave too many wishes. No, I don't think jinns give wishes. You're thinking of a genie. Genies and jinns are different things. I think genies only exist in stories, but jinns are from Islam. Like, they're part of the Islamic mythology. Anyway, I want to show you something Ushkushi from Ukraine, right? Because, like, a lot of people are sharing this, and I love how people react to it. Let me show you. Here's what's what. Look at this. This is from Ukraine. I love the I love the fact that you can see her eyes. Let me just give you that one more time so you can see it better. Like, you can see that she is smiling just through her eyes, but the thing that I love the most is the sound of gunfire and explosions in the background. So So let's go back, watch this one more time. So there were various reactions. To this video. Some people enjoyed it. Other people were comparing it to the TikTok nurses. So it could be a training range. I didn't think about that. Yes. So I gotta say I like it. Probably because I am biased. I mean, she's doing an anime dance, and she's doing it very, very good. It takes a lot of skill and talent to do that. Very energetic, right? I wouldn't compare it to the nurses doing the TikTok dance, right? Because the nurses doing the TikTok dance, it was kind of like stay at home, motherfucker. Like, that was the vibe. You know, like the nurses doing the TikTok dance, they wanted something from me. Right? And the nurses, they basically were saying, we are so overstaffed, we are so fucking busy. It is such a difficulty being at the hospital, let's do a TikTok dance. Right? So that's what really annoyed me with the nurses doing the TikTok dance. It wasn't necessarily like specifically the dance. Like, if I were to see some nurses at a hospital doing a TikTok dance now, I wouldn't give a fuck. Right? But that was the problem. Now, secondly... This can actually be a really good recruiting tool. I mean, there might be, you know, like the way the military used to do back in the day. They would show a very, you know, beautiful image of a girl, or they would have a female recruiter, and you'd get soldiers like that. So that's one thing. But secondly, like, look, if she's in her free time, the dance isn't vulgar. She's not doing anything wrong. I don't see the problem with that. Right? Like, if you were to see a couple of male soldiers doing, I don't know, the polka, and they're all doing the polka, and they're male soldiers, like, okay, they're doing the polka, who cares? Send billion of dollars anon, ooh. Well, let me put it this way, right? Like, this is how you can actually have anarcho-capitalism. I sold this idea before. So far, no one has proven me wrong. But you can have a couple of wishy-cushy ladies doing various things, and people will give them super chats, and you can use those super chats to build roads. You can use those super chats to, you know, have the police force. And that's how you can have anarcho-capitalism. How is that dance degenerate, man? How is that dance degenerate? Would you rather... No, seriously. When you say a degenerate dance, I would consider striptease. I would consider twerking, right? Or some woman shaking her boobies. Like, that's what I would consider a vulgar dance. Like, what she did, in my opinion, at least, seems very intricate. Like, the moves are difficult. I would not be able to do that dance on the first go. Like, I would have to practice at least a couple of days in order to get all those moves down. So, no. She'll be Ukrainian sergeant? Oh, it was a joke. Dude, it's the chat. I can't tell jokes or not. I got like 0.5 seconds to look at the chat, grab a line, and then talk about it. I can't do jokes very well, I'm sorry. The thrusting hips triggered many? Oh, well. I think it's part of the... I don't care. Okay, fine. You know what? Like, the thrusting hips are a little bit problematic. I will deduct 1 point, right? So, instead of a 10, she gets a 9 out of 10. Instead of 5 stars, she gets like 4 out of 5 stars. I'm deducting a point due to the hip thrusting. When you debut your practice dance, I do not do dances. I can't dance, man. I genuinely cannot dance for shit. I don't know what to do with my eyes. I bite my lower lip. Never bite your lower lip when you're dancing. Women don't like that. Just don't bite your lower... It doesn't look manly. You need to ooze toxic masculinity. Do you think Arnold Schwarzenegger from the Terminator would bite his lower lip when dancing? If Arnold doesn't do it, you shouldn't do it. That's my advice. Right? So whenever you go to the club, whenever you go to the disco, Make sure you don't bite your lower lip. If you can't dance without biting your lower lip, then don't fucking dance. It's my advice for young generation. See, I'm doing the dating coach. Doug, never bite your lower. What? Doug, do not gaslight my chat. I bite their lower lip while oh, see, Spock knows what's up. Holy shit! I forgot to advertise the stream. Did you guys advertise it for me? I shouldn't ask you. But we do live in the era of Susan Wojcicki. Which, to be funny, like, there's two things that I find funny about Susan Wojcicki. Number one, that a lot of people can't pronounce her name properly. I guess it's because she's Polish. But secondly, is the fact that many people think she's a bad individual, which, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things to criticize for her, but I dread the day when I see who is going to take her place. I don't think that the person that's going to be after Susan Wojcicki is going to be, you know, like an Elon Musk type of figure. That's going to be, you know, we're going to reinstate all of the banned accounts, and we're going to allow more free speech. We're going to remove from the things we have banned. No, okay, like, that's not going to happen. We're going to innovate the platform. We're going to create more things. I mean, look at how many cool things Twitch has. Unironically, I would have used Twitch because I really like some of the features that Twitch has. But the problem is, like, their mentality. Holy fucking shit. Those people, man, they ban you for stuff people say in chat. Like, if one of you guys were to come into my chat on Twitch and they would say something controversial, and it's not hard to be controversial on Twitch. Like, you start trash talking Pokimane into my chat. That's called endorsement. It's like, it's as if I were to... Hello, people. I'm sorry. Hello, Juice. But anyway, right, so... I definitely do not look forward to the post-era of Susan Wojcicki. I'm not excited about it. Twitch is the circle of hell emojis. By the way, I pray that Twitch never changes. I don't want Twitch to fall. Like, if Twitch falls, the rest of the internet follows. Like, Twitch is a containment zone for all of the fringe radical extremism that is on the internet, plus thoughts. Like, that thoughts and prayers. That's what Twitch is, right? So, imagine if Twitch was to go down, and I would see all of those people who do nothing but seek drama. Like, they join every fucking community with the one purpose of destroying and dividing. So imagine seeing those people on YouTube. The day I fucking see a pog into my chat is going to be the day that I disable my chat. I don't want to see that shit, even if it costs me money. I'll be like, no, that's it. You know, just the first pog. When I see the first... And by the way, pogging, in my opinion... Actually, you know what? It's not my opinion. It's objective. Pogging, objectively, is soy face in a cultural acceptable manner. Right? Because you look at... No, seriously, let me show you, right? Let me show you, right? So what is pog? Like, pog is this, right? But look what happens when I turn it on, right? Is it not soy face? How is it not soy face? It's soy face at the police assembly line. Like when the police makes you take a profile picture and you're, you know, like you're soy facing. It's pogging, right? Like you're literally pogging for the cops so that they can take your picture. And by the way, you know, like, did you guys ever went into a sex shop before? Did you guys ever went into it? And just stop advertising your Twitch on my fucking channel, please. Stop advertising your Twitch on my channel. Going to hide you. Going to hide you if you keep advertising your Twitch. What would be the best piece of advice to give to save money to buy a home? You've talked about going to the bank, but now how you get there, if you don't mind sharing. Okay. So, Zanothia. If you want to buy a home, it should be a very difficult decision to make, right? Like before buying a home, you need to make absolutely sure that you have a plumber with you, that you have an electrician with you, and that you have someone that knows engineering with you. Because what you want to do is you want to go into that house and make sure that everything is in order, because there's a lot of scams. And we're talking about scams that are tens of thousands of dollars. You may not like what you find afterwards, right? So like, get a team of experts with you in order to make sure that that house is in proper order. Then you have two choices depending on how much money you make. If you make a lot of money, like let's say you're in Scat Francisco and you're making $10,000 a month and you want to buy a home in a rural area. Like let's say you want to buy a $200,000 home. You don't need the bank. You just save the money. Just save the money and you go there and you buy you buy that house, you buy that sucker with your money down. Now, in a period of inflation, like we had last year, the best thing you want to do is you go to a bank and they usually have like these fixed loan rates. So basically, for 5 years, your loan doesn't go up, right? Like even if there's inflation, even if you can do that, you're going to make a killing. You're going to make a lot of profit. And that's pretty much what I did. Like, I bought my home with a bank loan. When I got my home, it was $100,000. Now it's $200,000. So if I were to flip it, well, potentially I would make a lot of money. Of course, I'm not intending to flip it. It's just like a fun fact, like fun to know. Because I'm pretty sure it's going to go back down to 100,000. But anyway, right. Yes, you need to get a house inspection. I can't afford a $10,000 home. I'm the poorest. Well, I mean, look, if you want to buy a house, like you don't really need to afford the whole house. You need to afford the down payment, and you need to be sure that you're going to still make money. Because what ends up happening is that if you can have that down payment, you can then have the same experience as if you're renting an apartment. Right? So like when you're renting an apartment, you're paying for someone with the privilege to live there. But if you have the down payment, now you can literally live in that house. Right? So, and also, try, and this is my advice for everyone, if you're making more than the cost of paying the mortgage, like let's say you have a little extra at the end of the month, use that little extra to pay that loan faster. Like, once you make a loan for a house, do your best to pay it. You don't want to be indebted to the banks. And by the way, the banks hate when you do this. Like, if you make a 30-year-old loan and you pay it in 5 years, they will despise you. But it doesn't matter. You make the banks unhappy, you make me happy. So you want to pay the loan as fast. Like, I noticed Americans don't do this for some fucking reason. I don't understand why. Like, if an American makes a loan for 30 years, they will actually spend 30 years to pay it. Okay? Normal people in Eastern Europe do not do that shit. So anyway, yeah, another thing you can do, like this is actually a business that many Romanians do. If you can afford the down payment for a house, you can rent it, and then you use the rent to pay the mortgage. There's a lot of problems that can come with this, like for example, the renter doesn't pay, the renter destroys your home, the renter is very difficult to be kicked out due to the CDC issuing a moratorium, so on and so forth. But like, on paper, this is a way you can do it. Just rent an apartment, down payment for an apartment, you rent it, and then you use the rent to pay for the apartment. So, yes. Mortgages in the West have penalties on early payments. It doesn't fucking matter. And by the way, it depends on the bank you're doing, it depends on the contract, it depends on many things, right? But like, I'm pretty sure if you get an advisor, like an accountant, they can tell you. So anyway, some lenders have a prepayment penalty fee. Yeah, you need to be careful with what you do with your bank. But basically, you should you should get a way of paying earlier so that you don't become indebted to the bank. Like that's the worst thing possible. And even that prepayment fee, I don't think is that huge. Like the purpose here is not like you're not going to become poor because of that prepayment fee. Right? But you are going to become poor if you lose your job and you can't pay for the mortgage anymore, and then the bank takes your house. So I don't give a shit about the prepayment fee. I don't care about it. Just pay it. Just pay it. Even if it's more expensive, pay it. You don't want to be in debt to the banks. Alright. Fixed interest rate. Yeah, it exists in Romania. I have a fixed interest rate for 5 years. I don't know what fucking banks you have over there. It's so fucking weird. Whenever I talk to Americans, they tell me like the craziest things about their banks. I'm starting to wonder, like, how is it legal? But anyway, right. I kind of see why Americans don't like banks that much. I mean, from the descriptions you guys are giving me, it's a little bit concerning. We got 5 more minutes before we go to the actual article. Like, this is the setup for the stream that I'm doing right now. So, 5 minutes introductory talk with the chat, and the next 5 minutes we're going to be talking about the article. Why the fuck is there a foot emoji on my server? Can anyone explain this bizarre atrocity to me? When I go on my server and I shill the stream, I see foot emojis. Who the fuck put the foot emoji in my chat? My fucking god. And now that I mentioned it, there's going to be probably more people. By the way, isn't Juice going to show us feet if they reach 100,000 subscribers? Hold on, let me check. Pipkin Pippa, how many subscribers does she have? Are we getting close? Are we getting 96.3 thousand? 4,000 subscribers away. Holy shit. If I were to promote her on my main channel, she would manage to get 100,000 tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Promoted not enough. My chat is already strangling me whenever I talk about VTubers. My chat doesn't even like it when I talk about chatbots. Chat is jealous, doesn't want me mingling with other chats, especially if they're bots. Oh, by the way, Aiden Paladin found Jesus. And what's interesting is that a lot of people are saying, because I saw this. She found Jesus as a grift. Anyone who knows how to grift by finding Jesus, please tell me. Because I want to make some money. I will find Jesus tomorrow if I can grift it. How the fuck do you grift Jesus? Like, out of all the things, you know, I'm more capable of grifting being gay in 2022, or actually even better, being non-binary in 2022 than finding Jesus. Like, how can you... If someone tells me that they found Jesus, I immediately believe them. 100 fucking percent. I do not even doubt it for a fucking second. The only way I can doubt someone that finds Jesus is like, maybe they're in a Catholic school, right? And they're like the only atheist there, and all of a sudden they find... I kind of can see, yeah, maybe they just want to fit in. Jesus or Jesus? Jesus, man. Where was Jesus hiding? Took longer than finding Bin Laden. Well, I will point this out, right? This is actually interesting. Words of wisdom. Are you ready to be mind blown? Are you ready to... Okay, here you go. People do not find religion because they see the beauty of creation. People find religion because they see the horrors that mankind can create. I mean, right now in Canada, of all places... Holy shit, Canada is in a very interesting place. So they started with the concept of assisted suicide. Like, the word suicide is so problematic that when you just mention it, like, there's probably like 100 flags going around on the AI of YouTube trying to figure out what context did I say the word in. Like, you can say it on Twitter and all of a sudden you get flagged. Right? Like that. But in Canada, they're trying to legalize it, and it's not called... It's called maids or something, you know, like to give it a beautiful name. Make it progressive. So, there's articles after articles coming on. From what I understand, there's a debate now. Because, like, initially it was something that I agree with. And this is why we can't have nice things. Like, even things that I fucking agree with, they have to be perverted into something that would make me stand against them. Like, if now they would have this in my country, I would have to stand against it. So like, the initial idea was, okay, well, if you are suffering from a debilitating illness, and there's no treatment, like your final stages of cancer, right? And you're suffering, you're in huge pain. And there is nothing that can be done for you. Like, you know that there's never going to be another good day. Well, you can go to the doctor and they can provide you the facilities, right? Like, that was the thing. And you know what? Fucking hell, I agree with that shit. Like, I would want that in my country, because I would be like, well, I don't know what old age is going to bring me. Like, I can be an elderly person, I can suffer from something really bad, and I can be, you know what, maybe I would want in my country to have the possibility to go to a doctor. But now that they're like, okay, but what about, like, children with severe disabilities? And I'm like, so you're into eugenics now. But, like, what about... there was, like, this scandal where a war veteran who was suffering from depression, and I believe she was about to go homeless, like, she was proposed by the government as a solution, by her doctor, as a solution. Like, why not go with the program? Why not fucking... See, I would say it, but, like, if I were to say it, YouTube would flag the living shit out of stream. You can't say it anymore, but it used to be said quite commonly on Xbox. Why not kick yourself? Kick yourself from the chat. That's, you know, why not kick yourself? So yeah, I mean, it is, you know, like, this is the problem. Like, you agree with the initial concept, which is good. I don't mind, like, even a religious person would probably agree, you know, like, you need to have the test. Like, God would test people, right? Like, they put the test in front of you, and you have the freedom of choice. You can choose to do good, or you can choose to do bad, right? You do good, you go to St. Peter, he opens the gates of heaven, he lets you in. You do bad, you end up with a succubi in hell. I get that, right? Like, yeah. So, you know, like, even if you're a religious person, you can still justify it. You're like, oh, well, like, the test is the sickness. It's debilitating, it's painful, right? Is the person gonna go through the test and end up in heaven, or is the person going to take the easy way out and end up in... You know, like, I get it. But for the love of fucking God, like, you're not, like, it's just... Oh, these people, they're poor. Well, I mean, we don't want to give them welfare, let's, Do you think that Canadian doctors are getting a payout per assisted suicide? I have no fucking idea. I can't say. But I'm pretty sure that you may get in trouble if you don't. Right? I mean, it's the same with my country. So in my country, if you're a gynecologist, you may not want to do abortions. Like funny enough, in my country, men are pro-abortion, women are pro-choice. Sorry, men are pro-abortion, women are pro-life. Almost universally. Very rarely you will find a woman here. It's like Bizarro World, right? Because the men, they don't want the responsibility. Oh my God, like, I left her pregnant, now what do I do? Right? So they want the pro-choice thing. And women are pro-life as fuck. In Romania. I don't know. In America, it's the other way around, right? But, like, a lot of the people who become gynecologists are women. Like, from my class, my graduation, I believe at least 6 of them. Yeah, like 6 from my inner circle went and become gynecologists. So, like, some of them do not want to do abortions, right? They just don't want to do it because of religious beliefs. Now, legally, they can't be forced, right? But behind closed doors, there are lists, and like, the hospital goes like, okay, who do we hire? And the HR person at the hospital goes like, well, don't hire this lady because she doesn't do it. So, you know, like, regarding the payout, there might not even need to be a payout. And you can't prove, you know, like, you go to the interview, right? You don't even know why you're blacklisted, but you go to the interview, you take the interview, and they will say, well, sorry, you know, like, you're not fit for the job. All I can say, this is not for everybody, but accepting Christ into my heart has made me so peaceful compared to where I was. It's what works for me. Yeah, no, I you know, more power to you. I don't... It's just weird that people say, oh, she's grifting. She's like, motherfucker, how is she grifting? Like, tell me. I want to know, how can you make money by finding Jesus? Because I will find him tomorrow. Like, if Jesus comes with a pot of gold, I will just find him, like, right now. Right now, I will find Jesus. I've always been faithful. I was a Norse pagan for 5-6 years. That didn't bring me peace. Very interesting. Like, what works for you? I don't mind. Just... Russian MSM pundits are now blaming Catholicism for what? I mean, they always blame someone, but Catholicism? Why? Kai Drakai is here. Why is Kai Drakai so fucking cheerful? Kai Drakai, do you never have like a bad day in your fucking life? How do you do it? You know, look at Kai Drakai, chat. I pinned his message. Look how happy he is. Every single fucking chat. He never donates, never gives super chat, but he gives happiness and joy. I like Kai Drakai. How the fuck do you do it? Like, every day he is happy, every day he is cheerful, comes here in the chat, spreads his little Asian emoticons, makes me chuckle. It's very interesting. It's Omoshiroi. See, I taught you when you were in Omoshiroi. Learn to speak Japanese with V. Huh? I watched some anime, I learned the lingo. Kai Drakai believes in optimism. Man, do you never have such a shitty day where you don't believe in anything? Like, you just... you think that if you type something, it will just make it worse. You don't know how, but you get the feeling. Like, it's been such a shit day, you might type something and you might get your account banned by Google by mistake. It's like, it's such a bad day, everything goes bad. You know, like, literally nothing works. You wake up, your little toe gets hit by the edge of the door. You go take a piss, you accidentally piss on the toilet seat. You know, like, you go to take a ride to work, there's traffic, you're late, come find the parking space, your boss screams at you. So like, after having that day, you get to sit down and you finally, you know, you want to type something in my chat and you realize, you know what, if I type it, it will just make it worse. I don't know how, but like, there's going to be something bad happening, I know it. Anywho. I'm waiting for Kai Drakai to respond. I'd keep that to myself. I'd rather not spread the sadness. I'm not saying about spreading the sadness, motherfucker. I'm saying that when everything goes bad, you would think that if you type it, you might get your account banned or something. You might, you know, like life has given you so many lemons that day that you can put them in a goat's ass and suck that goat's cock and it will be sour. And you're thinking like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I just like, today, I'm not going to type anything. It's such a bad day. Everything goes wrong. Like, I just want to go to bed and wake up tomorrow and hopefully things will change. V after a bad day. Literally this. Okay? Like, this is literally me after a bad day. Hold on. Me. This is me after a bad day. Yeah. You guys never had bad days like that? Where like, you know what? Maybe I should just shut the fuck up. Like, if I say something, I will annoy someone. I don't know how. I don't know who. But it's going to happen. So I'll just shut the fuck up. Remove myself from the conversation. Oh my god, like, so many people are giving me the British lad. What was it? What was his name? The chatbot we talked about yesterday. Big Gaz. Big Gaz, yeah, the guy with the beer from the pub. Like, he went so fucking popular, he went viral. Anywho, right, before we begin, I would like to play you one more time the Ushikushi Ukrainian lady doing the song. I find this to be very wholesome. Anyone that disagrees, you're flat out objectively wrong. It's got 1.3 million views. Okay, 1.3 million people can't be wrong. This is the part that annoys the chat, like right here. It's coming, it's coming. Look, this is... Apparently, according to chat, that wasn't good. I would like to point out, I would not like to be in a combat situation with her and be on the enemy side. I would not be able to shoot at her. Like, literally. Like, that is better than a bulletproof vest. Like, imagine this, right? Like, imagine this, right? You're in the trenches, you know, and you see an enemy female soldier doing that dance. What do you do? What do you do? You don't do shit. That's what you do. Don't do fucking shit. She's not Russian. She's Ukraine, man. She can shoot at me anytime. Oh my god. Trusting her hips was the best part. I see. Cringe, but not the worst thing in the world. Stay classy, EU. Roman, when's the last time you had to defend your fucking nation? Shut the fuck up. You wouldn't shoot at that, Roman. You wouldn't shoot. And at your age, I would say you'd probably shoot blanks. Given the concerning drop in sperm count, you wouldn't shoot anything, Roman. Stop trying to play the big man here. I would prioritize it. You know what? I have so many heartless people in the chat. Like, do we not have a heart emoji? There must be a heart emoji. Hold on. Is there no heart emoji? Come on. There must be a heart emoji. Oh, here we go. You know, I will give this, I will donate this for the heartless people in my chat. There you go. Now you can have it. What is wrong with you people? You'd shoot at her. Fuck is wrong with you? Anyway, Roman is not shooting blanks. How do you know, Zenith? Did Roman shot something at you? Is that what you're trying to say? I remember the, what was it? I forgot which feminist. There was a feminist back in the day, 2016, which claimed, okay, like we don't know, but she claimed that this was sent to her. And it was a picture of herself scanned with some suspiciously white liquid on it. And she was very disturbed by this. And she got many donations. Like, she used that picture, did like a Naruto, turned it around into chakra, you know, molded with the chakra, like the Rasengan, and turned it into Kash. So, Zedef, did Roman do something similar to you? Like, did he take your avatar and send you a picture of it with a disturbingly white liquid? Like, do you know he's not shooting blanks? I mean, how do you know? Anyway, right. I'm going to stop bullying Roman now, because I bullied him too much. We need to talk about the important stuff. Jiu-Jitsu. Oh my fucking god. Archive today. Not my fault that the archive daily, actually. I have it saved. Not giving them clicks. Why can't I find it? Ah, here we go. Naruhodo. So, going to where the fuck is it? Sorry, chat. Technical difficulty. Oh, there we go. I thought I'd be having technical difficulties, but no. I just need to confirm that I'm not a robot. They put me in a queue. Now we have to wait. Look at this, chat. I'm in a fucking queue. It's loading. Alright. Well, while it's loading, let's see if I can fix this. Here we go. There we go. I need to find someone that can do some stream elements for me, because I'm really bored of this. It's a very good, don't get me wrong, really good background, but I want to do something new. And I don't know anyone that has like the imagination required to create something for me. I need to find like some stream user interface. That's what they call it. I don't know why they call it user interface, because like you guys are users, but you can't interface with it, but still. So while we wait, it's cold and so dark here in the UK. Motherfucker, you're in the UK? I could have visited you had I known. I already visited Sargon. I'm planning next year to go to UK with Arch Warhammer, Sargon of Akkad, and you know what we're going to do? We are going to go to the Warhammer 40 Games Workshop. Games Workshop meeting, motherfucker. Games Workshop I mean, that's huge. I wonder if they're going to kick us out. Like, usually, your mere presence. Like, right-wingers have an aura of dread. And when you go into a place like that, they kick you out. Just by existing. Has happened with conventions. It is known. I mean, if I was just with Sargon, no one would give a shit, but it's Arch Warhammer. Especially if he announces it. Like, if he announces it, he's going to be persona non grata. I might go to the UK and just waste the money. I mean, it's not really a waste, because I get to spend time with the asshole. But, still, I don't want to get kicked out of the convention. You guys are going to steal the Golden Demon Slayer award. Probably. I have no idea what the fuck that is, but I'm not into Warhammer. I'm doing our wedding next year. I hate when people invite me to a fucking wedding. Why do you hate me so? So when you go to a wedding, right? You gotta buy a suit. You gotta buy new shoes. You gotta spend money on doing your fucking hair. If you happen to be married, that's even worse. Because now she has to buy a dress. That's even more expensive. She's gotta do her hair. And then the worst thing of all is that you need to buy a present for the people you're going to. And then there are some assholes that are like, oh, you don't have to. They want it. Like, that's the whole purpose of why you make a fucking wedding. To get money from the invites. Is that a thing in the United States? Like, do you guys do that? Like, here, if you go to someone else's wedding, you're expected to spend at least $200 for the present. And then you spend like $200 more for the suit and probably $100 more for the shoes. It's a very expensive endeavor for one night that you're not even fucking happy. Like, you're already there, you know, like doing something that you could have been doing any other fucking day. Like sitting there and they're doing all of these rituals and dances and they steal the bride. Oh, you don't know about stealing the bride, right? Because you're not in Eastern Europe. But I'm telling you, it's lame. Very lame. Stealing the bride. Hey, you are typing, I don't want a present. Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. Let me show you, like, stealing the bride. Hold on. Like, stealing the bride. This is, like, the dumbest thing. The most cringe shit that has ever been invented. Not stealing the pride. Stealing the bride, Google. Oh, here we go. Right. So this is only in Eastern Europe. I believe the whole shtick may exist in other countries, but look at this, right? So when you see this, not my face, is this not the most Eastern European shit that you can possibly imagine? Like doesn't this scream Eastern Europe? They're probably toy guns as well, because we don't have actual machine guns. But it does scream cringe, doesn't it? It's fucking cringe. So I'll tell you what stealing the bride is, right? So you have usually a friend of the bride. Could be even the godparents. Like someone like that. And during the festivities, they take the bride away to a hotel. And then they call the groom. And they ask the groom, how much are you willing to pay to get your bride back? And they're doing this negotiation while everyone is watching, right? And you can't be cheap with it. Because, you know, like, they just stole your woman. You have to give them something. It's the most cringe tradition. And if you're the bride, right? Like, first of all, I gotta say, weddings, like, trust me on this. They are absolutely horrible for the woman. All the women are happy with the wedding planning, and then, like, everything needs to be perfect, and we're going to see these people over here, and they're going... After the wedding, they despise it. Now, you pay a lot of money for making the wedding. It's already expensive as fuck, but you can't even eat the food because you're being stolen. Okay, now, with that out of the fucking way, the actual dress. Holy shit, the dress. Do you know it has like a fucking skeleton underneath? Like, you can barely move. Like, women cannot even take a piss in that. It's a wedding. You're supposed to drink. So, unless you're smart and you buy, like, one of those, like, just normal, you know, modern dresses, if you buy this, you're fucked. Let me show you. Hold on. V will show you. If you buy this, you're fucked. Like, this is hard. Right? Like, every time you walk, you gather all the dust. People around you need to be careful, because if they step on it, they can reveal your tushy to the camera. Women would be sad if that were to happen. And by the way, if you do not, under any fucking circumstance, if you're a woman, do not walk into the shrubbery or into the grass with this. Why? The material is white. It attracts insects. You're going to see all manner of crickets and creepy crawlies going on. You don't see that in the pictures, do you? I'm telling you about reality. Like, most people are even unaware that this is happening. So, anyway, right. I wish you a miserable wedding. And after you have it, and you're miserable, you'll come to me and you'll agree. It's like, V, why didn't you tell me sooner? Sounds like a missed opportunity to actually steal a bride. Oh, well. Yes. If it has baudes, I don't even know what that is. V, I'm a loser ex-pagan who getting married to an active pagan. So we had to find a gothy who can do both Christian and Norse pagan ceremonies. It's Galadriel type dress with swords. Okay. Enjoy the cringe. What can I say? But hopefully it works out for you better than it worked for me. That's the best thing that I can wish for you. Hopefully it works out better. So, oh my fucking god, the archive site. It messed up. Come on, archive site. Okay, now it worked. From baking the cake to learn to code, you fucking bigot. A new clash between faith and gay rights arrives at the Supreme Court. So the inferior courts did not have the fucking wisdom to settle this very easy case. I mean, look, it's not rocket science. Like, it is so fucking easy that even I, from Romania, understand the concept. If you have a store which has things on display, right? So you want to sell stuff. Like, you got your banana juice. You got your banana juice in the window, right? And a gay person, or a Muslim, or whomever, they want to come in, and they want to purchase this. Now, you're like, oh, are you gay? Yeah, you're not getting this. You're not getting... That's illegal. It's not fucking rocket science. But if someone were to tell you, hey, can you create something for me? Right? Like, if you go to a Christian and you say, I want a cake that has a Jesus Christ with a dildo on its forehead, the guy can say no and it's not illegal. You can't force people to create stuff. Right? If it's already created and if it's on display, then yes, the person can discriminate, and it's illegal for them to discriminate for not selling it to you. But if you're like, in this case, like this woman is supposed to create websites for same-sex weddings, she can say no. But imagine this. Like, let's put it. Okay, let's assume that the shoe is on the other foot, right? And you were to have a furry from San Francisco, right? You have this liberal furry, happens to be trans, and a Christian man comes to this furry and asks the furry, I want you to do a website where you say, women don't have penises. Now, if the furry says no, he's not discriminating. Or she, depending on how they identify, right? They're not discriminating because they have the right to not make a website that they disagree with. Simple as. Now, culturally speaking, you can be outraged and you can say, oh, well, this furry, evil, they do not, they're trying to erase Christianity because they don't believe God exists. I can get that, you know, like culturally speaking, but legally speaking, you can't force a person to do something or to write something, because like when you're making a website, you're even writing stuff that they disagree with. So, 10 years ago, a Colorado baker named Jack Phillips turned away a gay couple. It's also interesting how it wasn't Muslim bakeries. And by the way, by this time, we actually know that this lawsuit with the bakery was done by activists who went out of their way in order to find a bakery that would refuse them. Like, they went to several other bakeries before they made the decision to sue this one. So it's not like, you know, like, oh, well, these people just happen. But, of course, the New York Times is not going to ask for additional context. So that controversy arrived. The dispute, a white-hot flashpoint in the culture wars, made it to the Supreme Court. But Justice Anthony, narrow majority opinion in 2018, did not settle the question of whether the First Amendment permits discrimination by businesses open to public based on their owners' religious convictions. Instead, the opinion acknowledged that the court had merely kicked the can down the road. So now the can has arrived down the road. He's an artist, Mrs. Smith said of Mr. Phillips. I'm also an artist. We shouldn't be punishing for creating consistently with our convictions. The basic arguments in this case, which will be made before the Supreme Court on Monday, are as familiar as they are polarizing. I don't understand, like, dude, I guarantee to you, right? Like, find me a liberal person that disagrees with this take, right? Like, find me a liberal person that says, no, this woman should be forced to make websites she disagrees with, right? Like, find me that liberal person. And I guarantee to you that that person wouldn't like to live in a world like that. Because, again, that same liberal person could be forced to make a website that they disagree with. And to say, like, right-wing things. Like, you know, like, if someone would say immigrants are not welcomed here and they want a website like that, right, you'd have to create it for them. Or maybe, okay, not that because it's not discrimination, but like a Christian saying marriage is between a man and a woman, right? And the liberal person doesn't believe that, but they would still have to do it, or else they would be sued and they would be fined because they're discriminating against Christianity. Right? Like that. Are they sure they want this? I don't think they want this. And again, you know, the market already decides. It's not like there aren't, I mean, especially if you're a fashion designer or whatever, right? It's not like there aren't thousands of other people willing to do this. Like, this person is probably going to suffer business because by refusing customers, especially in the political climate, and you're refusing customers and you're living in a very progressive place, there's going to be non-gay people that will not want to support your business. So it's like, there's no reason to go after them, you know? But okay, anyway, so, the court will hear those arguments, has been transformed, apparently, and they have shifted to the right. Moreover, when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, Justice Clarence Thomas has filed a concurring opinion calling for the elimination of the right of same-sex marriage. Again, the Supreme Court judges with the Constitution. The Constitution has been written by the Founding Fathers hundreds of years ago. Does the Constitution mention same-sex marriages? Does the Constitution mention Roe v. Wade? If no, then it's up to the states to decide. So the local legislature, in other words, like every state, as far as I understand American politics, right? They vote. And as when it comes to gay marriage, I can't think of many states in the US where they would outright ban it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't feel like with Roe v. Wade, even after it was abolished, you don't have that many states trying to outlaw abortions. And even in the states where they are outlawing abortions, it's still a very liberal outlaw compared to what we have here in the European Union. Like, look at the abortion laws in Poland. Look at the abortion laws in Sweden, which is considered to be one of the most liberal places in the world. America is incredibly extreme and radical compared to the rest of the world when you talk about abortions. Look at the dates, look at the charts, you know, the charts. Compare it to Europe. I'm not even saying comparing it to Middle East, right? So, this whole doom and gloom. And even the Democrats don't want to codify it into legislation, because then how will they manage to get votes? Like, the whole thing is like, vote for us and we'll give you codification into legislation. But maybe later down the line, in midterms. In midterms, when we know that, historically speaking, the people that win are the ones that don't hold the presidency. So anyway, right. The decision to hear Mrs. Smith's case was probably driven by several factors. An increasing assertive 6-justice conservative supermajority. Mrs. Smith, in an interview in her modest but cheerful studio in an office building, said, I am God's masterpiece. Holy fucking shit. I am God's masterpiece. Tsukina Usagi. Forgot her name. Aiden Paladin. I remember her name. Sorry for calling you Tsukina Usagi. Are you God's masterpiece? You can't be God's masterpiece because like there can be only one masterpiece. And it's this lady. Who sits in a beautiful office building in suburb Denver. She said that she is happy to create graphics and websites for anyone, including LGBTQ people, but her Christian faith said she does not allow her to create messages celebrating same-sex. What is the fucking problem? What is the fucking problem then? You can't force people to say stuff they don't agree with. But, like, the question is, like, why would you want someone to say something? Like, why would I want to hire a liberal? Like, wouldn't this be sadism? Like, imagine hiring a liberal artist. And I would know that he doesn't want to work for me. Like, I know from the bottom of his heart that he hates my guts and he doesn't want to work for me. But I make him run, like, write a big message like Trump 2024. And it's like... And I would know that if he doesn't write it, like, the law punishes him. Why would I do that? That is sadistic. When I chose to start my own business as an artist to create custom expression, I did not surrender my First Amendment rights. You can't... Okay, so Colorado's Attorney General, once you open up your doors to the public, you have to serve everybody. You can't turn people away based on who they are. She's literally not turning them away based on who they are. Like, she is saying that even if you're a straight person, or it doesn't matter, like, even if you're an asexual person, she will not make something that writes something that she disagrees with. I would assume that it's not just about marriages. Like, if she were to write something promoting atheism, she would probably not write it. Mrs. Phil, a limited victory left unresolved whether he has a constitutional right to refuse or create custom cakes for LGBTQ people. Yeah, anyway, holy shit, what a long article. But I don't even know, like, where's the controversy? Again, like, I can find liberal people that would probably not want to live in a world where you can be compelled to create, to write things you disagree with. Like, it's one thing, like, even liberals, right? Like, they like cancel culture, and they like censoring people for having the wrong opinions. And I get that, but, like, very few of them, well, with some exceptions on Twitter, I suppose, like, very few of them would be comfortable with getting people to say stuff that they disagree with. Wax the cake, yes. Christ is God's masterpiece. See, Aiden, you need to go back to Bible studies. You need to go back to your roots. And you need to learn the fact that Christ is fucking God. What denomination did you fall into that you believe, oh, Christ is God's masterpiece? That is incorrect. Christ is God. It's like the Trinity. It's actually a big controversy. Sorry, it's a big reason for schism among denominations. Like, it's heresy, actually. It's heresy to say that Christ is not God. Christ can't be God's masterpiece because he is God. Mankind is God's masterpiece, yes. Is it though? Probably is. I guess it, yeah, like from a religious standpoint, I think like priests would agree. You're Orthodox. Okay, Aiden, I will tell you. I will teach you. I've been an Orthodox for longer than you. Mankind is God's masterpiece, right? But like, she's not mankind. She's just one person. I mean, technically, like, she can say she is part of the masterpiece. That would be correct. Like, she is a fragment of the masterpiece. I should start a religious channel. Aiden Paladin would follow me around. Like, she would be my first subscriber. And I would provide wisdom. I would teach her. Christ is both God and man. He used to be man when he was on earth. Right? So when Christ was on earth, he was man and he was part of the masterpiece. But after he went back to heaven, he became God again. Like right now, Christ is not a man. Right now, Christ is God. Fight me on this. I dare you. You do not have the biblical arguments. Man made God in his own image. So what? That doesn't mean that man is that man is part of. No, actually, hold on. That's correct. Yes, man made God in his image, so you can say that man is God's masterpiece. Yes. So if Jesus is God, then he is his own grandpa. I don't think it's fair to attribute the same human familial relationships to divinity, because it's like a completely different entity. So you can't really say that Jesus is like his own grandpa, because it doesn't make sense. I know that I'm correct, Aiden. Like, when it comes to religion, I studied this shit. Like, in order to become an atheist, I had to study. I know about religion just as much as I know about wokenism. Like the reason I'm not woke is because I understand the ideology. The reason I'm not religious is because I studied religion. Simple as. I'm not saying that religion is bad, though. Like here's the thing with religion. Because many people, like, assume, oh, well, so you don't believe in God. I can guarantee to you, like, 100% on this. Like, if you take a person, and there's, like, a crossroads in his life, and he can follow the teachings of Christ, or he can follow the teachings of the woke, I can guarantee to you he will have a more fulfilling life if he follows the teachings of Christ. And I can even articulate why that is. It's very simple. It's not some divine intervention or, you know, like some sacred text. No. If you're like myself, right, an atheist, so you don't believe in God, but you do believe that, okay, so that Christianity has a philosophy. Like, it has been created by man, and many things have been added and removed, like the Christianity we have today, even like if you're an Orthodox, the Christianity we have today is different than the Christianity that existed 1,000 years ago. I don't think anyone would disagree. Right? If you take a time machine and you talk to some Christians, and even like, the same Christianity in different places, like the Christianity in Ukraine and the Christianity in Russia is different, right? So, like, my point is, religion is a philosophy, right? Now, this philosophy has withstood the test of time. For 2,000 fucking years, this philosophy has existed. So, during this time, people have added, have removed, and if you actually take, like, a religious philosophical book, you will get a lot of wisdom from it. Because even if you don't believe it's divine, right, it's kind of like the American Constitution, right? Like, the American Constitution doesn't have any divine intervention in it. But the American Constitution has been written by very smart people, right? And it has withstood the test of time because it's a good idea. And it's the same with the religious philosophy. Like, if you actually spend time and you actually read, not like the Bible, but I'm talking about, like, the writings of an Orthodox priest on something, you know, like on feminism or something like that. You'll find a lot of wisdom there. The relationship between God and man comes from Mary, who was the only perfect human, which is why she is the mother of God. The relationship between God and man, so you're now spewing Catholicism. The relationship between God and man in the Orthodox Church comes through the Holy Spirit. Like, the Holy Spirit gave wisdom to the apostles so that they can spread the message of the Lord. The nature of man is what you want to talk about. The nature of man comes through Mary, which, yes, she was a human being, and through the Immaculate Conception, I even speak the fucking language. My fucking God. The Immaculate Conception has led to the creation of Jesus Christ, which, as you pointed out, was part man. Right. Fucking hell. Yeah. The Catholicism simps for Mary. Yes, Orthodox do not simp for Mary. We simp for the Holy Spirit. We do acknowledge the fact that Mary was a saint. We do acknowledge that there is divinity, but we do not have statues of Virgin Mary, and we do not pray to her. Mary is also very important in order. Yeah, we do not. It's not like the Catholic Church, okay? Like, the Catholic Church takes something good that takes it too fucking far, and then you get the Catholic priest taking the hammer and sickle from some communist, and you know that's how we get there. Let me show you something about Catholics while we're at, all right? Let me show you something. So, Catholicism, Pope, hammer and sickle, right? This is where they're at. This is where they're at. Okay? So, I don't know how you get to this point. Like, I don't know which teaching, I don't know what exactly did they do. But if they're doing something, I'll do the opposite and hope that I don't end up here. Is this fair? Like, is my logic fair? Am I analyzing the situation correctly? Like, I'm looking at this and I don't like it. I go like, this is what is this? Right? So, I don't know which one of their teachings is responsible for this shit. Like, I do not understand if it's a one-off thing or if it's a journey or if it's, like a way to arrive at that situation. But what I do know is that it's wrong. And if the Catholics do something, I will say, you know what? Maybe we should do it differently. They're praying to a statue of Virgin Mary. Maybe we shouldn't. That's my logic, Like, we're Orthodox here. We're Orthodox. If they're doing it, like, do the Orthodox pray to statues of Virgin Mary? No. Okay. As a human born with sin, I find it easy to pray to Mary. Find the saint. Saint Peter, pray to him. Actually, fun fact. This is part of the history of the Orthodoxy. Because back in the day, we're talking about the Roman time, right? Like, people used to pray to polytheistic gods. So they would pray to Zeus, Athena, paganism, Thor, Odin, whatever. They would pray to a multitude of gods. Now comes Christianity, and it's like, no, it's wrong. There's one God. That kind of mind-fucked with people. Unironically, like, especially back in the day when almost everyone was a believer, right? Like, it's like, what do you mean one God? And what they did is, like, they would pray to the saint, and the idea was, like, you pray to the saint so that the saint puts a word to God for you, right? Like, who the fuck are you to pray to God? Like, it's God, right? So you don't pray to God, you pray to the saint, and the saint pray. And you had, like, cities which had the protector saint. This is very popular, especially in the UK. Where you had, like, a saint protecting a city. And large families, they also had their own saints. So, for example, my name has Michael in it. Like, my middle name is Michael. This is, like, because when it's Michael's birthday, or I think it's when he got killed. I don't fucking know. But anyway, right, there is, like, a Saint Michael in the Orthodox calendar. And when it's Saint Michael, it's, like, kind of like a birthday to me. Like, that's how people treat it. The Greeks are all over this shit. Like, the Greeks, because like, they had the polytheistic religion. Like, they invented the Greek mythology. So, they're very saint-oriented. And when it's a person's birthday, they actually celebrate it less than when it's their saint day. Right? So, that's kind of how it works. Yeah, you pray to the middleman. You pray to Mother Julian. Yeah, so, like, that's how it works, right? But whatever, like, nowadays, that's not that common. Like, nowadays, most Christians, they pray directly to Jesus. So, like, when you're in the church and you're kneeling in front of the iconography and you visualize Jesus in your mind and you're praying directly to him. But back in the day, that wasn't the case. Evangelicals, like, they pray directly to Jesus. Oh my fucking god, the evangelical. Let me show you something about the evangelicals. I showed you last stream. It still mind fucks me to this day. Like, again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's not beautiful. But what I am saying is that someone who's born in Orthodox, and when I look at the church, there should be an air of sacredness and mystical place, right? And you're supposed to, like, just be in this kind of place that's stuck in time. And when I see the modern technology just bombarding the screen, let me see if I can find it. Where the hell is it? Here we go. This is the most American thing. Like, only in America. I don't think it exists in any other place in the world. I do not think it exists in the United Kingdom. I do not think it exists actually in Europe. Definitely not in Africa. I don't think even the Catholics do it. The Vatican doesn't have... Like, the Vatican has money, but they don't do this shit. Look at this. What the fuck is this? Like, I'm not saying that it doesn't sound good, right? Because they have, like, the music. It's kind of weird to see people just hovering in the air like that. Right? And the theater is good. Like, you got like, this big-ass theater. Right? I got Jesus here. But, like, it's all the technology that kind of breaks the vibe, Like, this should be with incense. You should have incense, and then the thing that goes glingling, slingling. I don't know what they call it, but, like, I expect, like, a priest with a beard. Instead, you get, like, these young individuals, these baby faces, which are operating technology far more expensive than my entire house, and then with people that are clinging to the ceiling. And, like, it's so fucking American. I can never understand it. Mega church, mega donations. I get it. But it doesn't. I mean, look. Hold on. Like, I'm not saying that the money is the problem. Although the money kind of is the problem. Like, you shouldn't display wealth like that. This is another American mindset. Although, you know, like, the Catholics also do it. Kind of not, though, right? Like, a lot of people will say, well, yeah, but, like, the Catholic hoard wealth. It kind of belongs to the church, doesn't it? Like, after the person dies, he doesn't leave anything to his followers. Like, he gives back what he took it to the... So it's technically not his. It's kind of like a communistic thing, right? Like, the church owns it. But anyway, right now, that's not my point. This is an expensive church, right? Like, some of these murals are priceless. But this is how I expect a place of worship to be like. I mean, you know, like, it's got incense, it's got, like, the priests, they're doing the chants, and then the singing and whatnot, and you have, like, pictures of the apostles. Right? Like, this is how I expect it to be like. What I saw there is just bewildering. Again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I was like, if people want to worship like that, it's fine. But it's like, it's just, I can't understand it. I would not feel the communion with the divine if I go in that place. If only there was a way to pay God directly via Google Pay. You can pay me in super chats. See what a snake in the grass I am. Do you see how I slipped into that? Snake oil salesman. They're priceless because they were painted like 200 years ago. Shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter. Like, there are churches that are being built today, and in 200 years they're going to be priceless. That mega church is never going to be priceless. Like, that mega church in 200 years is probably going to have the technology from 200 years in the future. The guy that paid for the ancient church would have flying drummers if he could. I don't think so, man. I mean, look, the priests, right? They don't pretend to be angels. Like, they don't pretend to be, you know, to be flying around. They could, I mean, the technology to make people fly with like wires and shit have existed for quite a bit. I mean, it's not some the theaters, right? Like, if you read upon some theaters, you would see that they had like intricate special effects for that particular time, and you had like people flying in theaters. Like, it's not that hard to do. Like, have a wire that hangs on someone, and you have someone else that moves them. Like, you could have done it. So no, I don't believe that people would have had like flying drummers back then if they could. Yeah, I mean, you could have done it with ropes. You could literally just create a balcony that goes on top, and you have like the guy with the drum, and there's people that are holding him with the ropes and moving him around. Like, that's not difficult to make. It's not some modern technology. The modern technology is that it just moves around by itself. These drummers aren't pretending they can fly. Everyone knows it's a show. I'm not saying they're pretending they can fly, but I'm saying, like, that's the symbolism, right? Like, that's what they're aiming for. Like, they're coming from the heaven. I guess it's like part of the rapture. Like, of course it's a show. You're like basically saying that if I go to a theater and I see the background with the sun, you're telling me it's not really day, it's just like the background that's being painted. Like, of course, I understand that, but they are trying to represent the fact that, you know, they're up in the air. Anywho, right. They're not really flying. No, obviously they're not flying. It's a show. I get that. Have any of them fallen on the audience? What audience? Like, the church was fucking empty. That's what bewildered me. Anyway, I need to go make the videos for my Lack of Entertainment channel and hopefully get my wife to make a sandwich before she goes to bed. So, I will end the stream here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you on my Lack of Entertainment.